A quiet, calm desert night, broken by a pilot given wrong directions. As his plane broke down, he did not. Roald Dahl clung to consciousness and life long enough to pull himself out of his burning plane and into safety as his gladiator lit up the night sky. Tonight, on TNN, Tommy's News Network, we go deeper into the crash. Thank you for letting me join you in the hospital, Mr. Dahl.
Well, tell me about the crash that got you in those bandages.
I just joined the RAF, and they gave me a training session for a plane. When I finished, I went to the superior for my next orders, and he told me I was to fly a Gladiator plane and go to Greece to meet my squadron.
Strange the day you got your instructions to find your squadron.
And since I hadn't found the camp, I had to land without a runway in the dark. After a couple minutes of searching, I had thought I found a good spot to land, but
It was dark.
the only thing that struck me as odd was that they didn't really give me time to train. That, and the commanding officer didn't know where one of his last air squadron was. A rock, so my body, tightly packed in as it was, still had enough space to violently throw my face into my sights. I lost consciousness for a couple of moments. However, I gained it back, rather quickly I suppose, because I heard both tanks of fuel on my plane engulfed in flames.
What were your thoughts when this happened?
I was blind, so I really thought about stuff with my other senses. My world was in two halves, one cool and peaceful, the other on fire with the sound of bullets buzzing around. I decided to crawl to the cool side.
Now this whole time, we knew that Roald Dahl got the wrong directions from a superior at a base camp. So now, I'm going to sit down with the commanding officer to see what had really happened the day he gave the instructions to Roald Dahl about how to find his squadron.
I'm pleased to be on your show.
Thank you for coming on. So, Commanding Officer, how would you like to tell us about the day you gave Roald Dahl his instructions to find his squadron?
Well, certain the 80th Squadron was there, like 30 miles south of where we were. But it turns out that I basically sent him right into no man's land in between us Brits and Italians.
So, tell me, Officer, how do you feel about the whole situation?
I feel awful about what happened. I still can't believe I got the location wrong. But I feel grateful that he survived.
As you can imagine, Roald Dahl was hospitalized after his plane crash. And despite what head injuries he may have had, he still remembered his way to the hospital and how he was treated. So today I'm going to sit down with the doctor to discuss Roald Dahl's treatment and what had happened to him.
This is Mr. Dahl.
Doc, tell me, everybody's dying to know, what happened the night of the crash?
Skull fracture, he lost some teeth, had his nose pushed in, and was blinded for a couple of days.
Do you regret anything that happened, Mr. Dahl?
I would never regret serving my country.
Roald Dahl, a British employee of the Shell Company. He took a ship to Africa and had wild adventures with the local town people. However, soon war broke out in Europe, and Roald Dahl was made a volunteer officer and had to lead a squadron of Askari soldiers to stop all the Germans from leaving Dar es Salaam. After stopping all the Germans, Roald Dahl volunteered to be a fighter pilot in the Royal Air Force, the RAF. After months of training, Roald Dahl was now a fighter pilot, and now all he had left to do was to find his squadron. He got directions from a commanding officer at a base camp. However, those directions soon turned out to be wrong. After crash landing in no man's land, Roald Dahl soon went on to fight for the Royal Air Force on the Grecian front. He managed to survive, even though the Germans outnumbered them almost 100 to 1. However, his crash soon came back to haunt him, and he started having severe headaches while flying. A medical board cleared him for home. Roald Dahl, a true British patriot, went home to the land he defended and loved, and to the mother he loved.